Hey, good morning guys. Happy Saturday, April 8th, just after 10:30 in the morning. Back on the TR250 this morning. And we've just started our new sheet for the day. So we're on T-minus 162. We've labeled our latest bin. So that's all tucked away. Got a new bin there ready to go. I think what we'll do this morning is, as promised, I think we'll go back to the front of the car and we'll get these headlights out and we'll try to get that front bumper off, and then we'll decide where we want to go from there. But those are the first two things I need to do this morning, so we'll get right to it. Alright guys, the headlight components are all out, and got a bit of a pleasant surprise, I think. So these are better than your standard bulbs. These are Corellos, actually, halogens. So I've just marked them driver's and passenger side because these might be handed actually based on the lenses. So anyway, I think we'll probably be able to reutilize those. They look pretty good. They're in pretty good shape. The buckets need to be cleaned up significantly. There's a fair amount of rust in those. And just for fun, I'm going to go around to the front of the car. I always look for, this car's obviously been repainted. It's supposed to be royal blue, so I guess this is as close as I could get to royal blue back when this was painted. I don't know when it was painted, but I always look for original paint on these cars, and I think that those headlight buckets have never been off the car, even when it's repainted. So I just sort of buffed up a little bit here underneath the rubber gaskets, and I think that's the original color there. So it's sort of a purpley blue, which kind of makes sense, royal blue. So I thought I'd just give you a quick shot of that. That's the original color there, I believe. They may be original paint under the crash pad as well. We'll see when we remove the windscreen and get under the crash pad. So now that the lights are out, you can have a look at that. I think we'll move on to removing that front bumper. Now it looks like it's only held on by 2 bolts, or actually 1 bolt on the actual bracket. So there's the nut and obviously the bolt on the inside. So one on each side, so that should be fairly easy to get off, but if the bolts are not seized. So we'll break out the wrenches and we'll get that front bumper off. Wow, the bumpers come off so much easier on a 250 versus a TR6. I mean, basically 2 bolts and you're off. So there it is, done, and moved safely over there in the pile of parts. So I think we're going to now move on to removing, I've got a funny, looks like a horn relay up here that needs to be removed, and we're going to go back there and we're going to remove that solenoid that we talked about yesterday. So we're going to remove those 2 pieces. Alright, just a quick update for you guys. Coming up to 1 o'clock and things are going a little slowly. Just had a visit from Les and a buddy named Stan, and that was about 45 minutes or so. Anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick update where we're at. So we've removed the starter solenoid. We've removed the heater hose bulkhead through the bulkhead, which is that funny arrangement they had for the heater hoses. We removed the horn relay. We removed the bonnet catch, and of course you saw me remove the headlights already. We've got those bagged up as well. We're now considering probably removing the fender, so I've got some documentation here as far as where the fasteners are located. So probably going to take the front wheels off so I can get under the nose of the car a little easier. I've also been working on trying to get that windscreen loosened up, and it's getting better, but still a little bit stiff, so we're going to keep working on that. Probably need Les's help to do that anyway. So that's pretty much about it. That's what the plan is next, is to get these fenders off. So I'll wait for Les to return. He's going to be back in about an hour and a half or so. And he's forbidden me from taking these fenders off without him being here. Like I said, this is a kind of a fetish for Les. For some reason he wants to get these fenders off. So I don't want to go ahead and take them off without him being here. He'd be upset with me otherwise. So we'll wait for Les to return, and then we'll take some video when he gets here. Okay guys, we've taken off the 2 chrome strips on the door and on the front fenders. So there's what that looks like. We've also, as you just noticed, have taken off the front marker lights. I'll give you a shot of those in a second. So there's the rivet clips, I guess you want to call them, for the strips. Those will all have to be drilled out at some point. So I love these marker lights. Kind of Art Deco-ish if you ask me. There they are there. This one is broken, cracked there, you can see. And doesn't have any studs on it. So this one is not going to see the light of day again, unfortunately. This one doesn't look too bad, although the chrome's kind of pitted. So we'll probably end up getting replacements for these. So these are expensive. I think these are about $350 a piece without the lenses. So anyway, we'll see what we've got as far as backup is concerned. I know I've got some spares of these, so we'll have to go through the spares and see if there's anything better that we can put on the car before we make the decision to buy new or not. Alright guys, that's it. We'll come back. Alright guys, we're back from lunch and we're going to now attack removing the air shocks because they're obviously attached to the body and the chassis. So we're going to remove the air shocks from the car. Should be fairly straightforward. Just got to remove that from the rear trailing arm and then remove the shock from inside. So what we'll do is we'll take the Schrader valve and we'll let all the air out of the shocks before we attempt to do this. And then remove the passenger side. Alright guys, we'll get to it. Alright guys, we're just underneath the passenger side and we've got the spring out. Well, the spring basically fell out. Once I got the air shock out, which is there, and I just wanted to give you a look at, there's the bump stop, and you can see the hole in the bottom of the bump stop. And remember I showed you that rust forming on the inside of the passenger compartment? Well, that's where the rust is coming through. There's obviously water getting pushed up into the inside of that cavity, and it's coming through the into the passenger compartment. So we'll have to fix up that bump stop for sure. And here is the modification that was made to for the air shock mount, which is pretty strange. Anyway, so that'll all have to be fixed up and restructured because they've cut a big piece out of the wheel well there and formulated some sort of bracketry or some sort of pocket in there for the air shock to fit. So that'll all have to be fixed up. Anyway, I thought I'd just give you a quick shot of that. So springs, shocks are out, and we're going to move around to the driver's side and do the same. We'll come back. Alright guys, just on the driver's side, and you can see the same type of damage with the hole in the bottom of the bump stop, and that's allowed the moisture to go in and create that big hole on the inner passenger compartment on the driver's side that I showed you yesterday. So the reason why the owner was running air shocks was because he also had a trailer hitch on this car, a custom trailer hitch made. So he must have been pulling a small trailer with this car at some point. So you can see the trailer hitch there sort of welded up to the frame structure. So I thought I'd just give you a quick shot of that. By the way, I don't know if you can read that or not, but the air shocks that were in here were Monroe Max Performance shocks. So if anybody ever wants to put air shocks on their TR6 or TR250, here's what you need to get. So Crazy Les has a little different concept of time than I do. I think he said I'll be back in an hour and a half to help you with the fenders or to take the fenders. I don't really need any help, but Les seemed to want to take these fenders off. So I've been waiting for Les to come back and been doing a bunch of make work projects in the meantime. And we're probably just about to do another one. We're going to probably just remove this brake caliper while we're here. I can see here that with these fiberglass fenders, Les has got a few less bolts to detach because that front fender is not attached at the bottom at all. It looks like the fiberglass is actually cracked away there. Anyway, no big deal because we're not going back with fiberglass fenders. So anyway, so I'm going to break out the wrenches and go to town on these brake calipers. We'll get the little head start on the chassis suspension restoration. Alright guys, calipers are out, and it was a bit of a trying time actually. It was getting to a point where I thought I was going to have some trouble. Started rounding off one of the bolts. It was not budging at all. So I stopped and put some heat on it and got a big breaker bar on it and managed to get it out. But you know, you start thinking the worst. You know, I'm going to have to drill that out or grind that off, and yeah, it was going to turn into a very long job, let's say. But anyway, I managed to get it out, so I'm happy about that. I thought I'd show you the pads here, or what's left of them. So that's the back plate, and I don't know if you can see how much pads left on there. It is basically right on the metal. So drive it like you stole it, I guess. So he definitely got everything he could out of those pads. Anyway, on to the next little project. Les is still not here. Alright, Les is here 2 hours late. But he's already got 1, 2, 3. He's on his fourth bolt.
They're falling out, Tush.
They're falling out.
I thought they were bolts, like not screws. Excuse me. I thought you said they were bolts. These are screws.
Just be quiet and work.
Thank you, Tush.
Okay, Les has got the fender off, and as we figured, there would be a pile of crap down on the inside of the car because it's missing the baffle plate for the inner fender. You can probably, I don't know if you know these cars well, but you can see it's missing a flange here. I have the actual replacement panel here, and you can see the flange that it's missing where the actual bulkhead sealer plate would fit to keep the debris from going inside the cavity. Other than that,
my support post is absolutely brilliant, Tush.
That's good.
Your main support post for the front of your car when you're sitting there.
In the fender, the flanges actually don't look too bad. So
round corners, it's still on there. One piece.
That's good, Les.
Very nice shape. Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Tush, you're very lucky.
Okay,
Fortunate.
So clean all that dirt out, Les. So here's the driver's side collection of leaves and debris. Actually doesn't look too bad. We've got a bit of a problem with the flange up here where it's been eaten away. But for the most part I think it looks not too bad. What do you think, Les?
Support post is the most important thing to me on a car like this because it separates the engine from the passengers. And it's good, Tush.
Thanks, Les, for that.
I think it'll take you driving in it no problem. We don't have to put any reinforcing on it.
Brilliant observation. I could get used to just sitting on a stool and watching Les work. Too bad he just doesn't work quicker. And quieter. Quieter would be good. I'll take quietness over quickness.
Shut up, Arsenal.
See what I mean? So Les says since Wheeler Dealers now has an opening, he's going to be the new Ed China. Yeah. He's a little bit shorter. He's a little bit uglier.
But I got just as much talent.
He's got a lot of talent, he says. I'm not sure at what, but...
Tush, you could be Mike with about a couple of 100 donuts extra, but you're
Alright guys, so we've managed to get the rear fender off, and it actually doesn't look too bad compared to what I'm used to. There are some obvious repairs done to this rear fender, and you can see quite a big patch has been welded in here. You can see quite a big ridge. It doesn't look like the patch has been put in very well. And you can see where some of the flanges have been repaired. Again, not extremely well. But all in all, it doesn't look too bad for a 50-year-old Fender. Should be able to fix it up in a little bit better condition than what it's in now. The inner tub structure looks pretty good. Usually these rust out pretty bad along in here, and that seems to be pretty solid. But we'll know more when we get it stripped down. We'll have to get the heat gun out and strip away all this undercoating. This is a little thin here in this tail light area. But again, we'll see what it looks like once we get it all cleaned up. We'll have a better idea what we need to do. Alright guys, that's it for now. We'll tackle the other side. I think Les is going to come back tonight after his dinner, and we'll tackle the last fender on this side. They are a bit of a challenge to get off. Some of the fasteners are way under the back corners of the wings, so they can be a little bit frustrating to get off. So it's good to have two people to lend a hand to get these fenders off. That's it for now, guys. We'll come back later. Alright guys, just coming up to 6:45, and we're on the last fender. Just waiting for Les to come back from dinner, so I'm going to get started without him. See if I can get some of the fasteners undone before he arrives. Anyway, so we're on the home stretch, and I guess after we get this last fender off, I can start working on the... We might try to get the windscreen off tonight with Les. I've made some progress and got it a little looser, so maybe I'll get Les to give me a hand with that. It's a little bit tricky to get this out by yourself. You've got to sort of maintain the angle of the windscreen as you pull it out of the bracket, so it's a little difficult unless you're standing in the middle of the car and sort of pulling it up from the center. That's the easiest thing to do it by yourself, but much easier if you have two people, so I'll probably get Les to give me a hand to do that as well. Alright guys, we'll come back. See, the problem with Les is he's always laying down on the job. You know? He gets a little cranky when he's frustrated and upset about trying to get these. Oh, he got it. How many more? One?
One more bastard.
Alright, Dr. Les. I'll leave you to it. Alright guys, we're coming down to the end of it. The passenger side rear fender is off now. And we got lucky and managed to get the windscreen off without breaking it. So we've got it just sitting over here on the ground. Those are always a pain in the ass to get off, and it doesn't help when they silicone the hell out of it. Or they looked like they RTV'd it or something like that, and it was all stuck down with that. So it was impossible to even get. It's hard enough to get it off with just the clamps, but when you RTV it down, it makes it more challenging on top of that. So anyway, I think it looks pretty good. There's obviously been a lot of repairs done on this car before. I can see a lot of patches that have been done previously. Who knows when they were done, but anyway, I don't see anything that's shocking, which is a good thing. I mean, we still have a lot of work to strip off all the old undercoating and have a really good look at things, but for the most part, I think it looks pretty darn good. I am a little concerned with the fasteners they used for the fenders. They don't make sense at all to me. I'll just grab one here on my way around the car. It looks like they're almost like self-tapping screws, very, very coarse thread. I don't believe they're supposed to be like this, but there's a fastener that was used to put the fenders on. So I believe they should be just fine thread bolts. But anyway, we're going to get fender mounting kits and we'll fix those things up. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I think the plan is for tomorrow. I think I'm going to go get my covered trailer and we're going to park that in the driveway. If you go back through my videos and watch me painting the 60 TR3, I kind of used the trailer as an oven for my painted parts and a place to keep the parts safe. Well, it'll be the exact opposite for this car. It's just going to be an extra storage location, let's say, for all of the panels and other stuff until I can get around to getting to it. So what we want to try to do is, like I said, get the trailer, load it up with all this crap, and then what we'll try to do tomorrow is maybe push the body outside or make enough room in the garage to actually separate the body from the chassis tomorrow. So that's the plan for tomorrow. So we're going to try to get, maybe for the last little bit of time tonight, we're going to try to get the some of the body bolts undone, and hopefully they'll come apart okay and won't be rusted and seized. I think there's only about 20 bolts in this thing to get the body off, so it's not too bad. So maybe we'll go to town on that for tonight for a little bit longer. I don't want to make it a really, really late night tonight, but maybe we'll stay out here for another half an hour or so. We still have to finish off our logbook for the night, so we need to do that before we go inside as well. Anyway, we'll come back with one more update of the night. Alright guys, we'll do our traditional end of night update. We'll have a look at the list. So T-minus 162. There's all we accomplished today. Obviously I didn't update, removing fenders and removing windscreen. I should probably add that on there. There's the bags of parts. So there you go. So like I said, we'll get out here tomorrow. We'll hopefully have a big day tomorrow, and it's supposed to be a nice day outside, so we should be able to get the garage doors open in here, and like I said, move all this junk out of here, and then bring the shop crane out, and we'll make a bit of a sling, and we'll get the body off. That's the plan for tomorrow. You may have noticed I've left the doors on, and that's for that specific purpose. We want to leave the doors in place when we lift the body off, just for some added structure. So that's why the doors are still on, if anybody's wondering. That's it for tonight, guys. We'll get out here tomorrow. Thanks for watching.